What's going on, everybody? Teddy Baldassarre from teddybaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at a watch available for purchase on my website with the Laco Aachen, a great affordable Flieger style watch. So if you are interested in this watch or any other watch from my website, head over to the link in the description. You can actually book a call with me. I can help you out with your next purchase. And even if I can't help you, I'll direct you in the right place to go. But guys, let's take a closer look at this watch. First, looking at this watch, we have a case size of 42 millimeters, but as an important note, there's also a 39 millimeter option available. More details on the site. Thickness 11.75 millimeters, lug width of 20 millimeters, lug to lug of 49.5 millimeters, water resistance of 50 meters. Movement is an automatic Miyota 821A. Crystal is Sapphire, and price $410. Now, first, when considering one of the most recognizable and constantly reinterpreted designs in all of watchmaking, this Flieger style is definitely at the top. Yet among the countless brands that offer something of this pilot Flieger styling, very few actually have heritage to connect with the originals like Laco does. And when it comes to a relatively more affordable tier, this watch is certainly a standout alongside the Augsburg, perhaps being the best two go-to choices for authentic entry-level Flieger style watches, with this one coming in a Type B dial configuration, which we'll get on more in a bit. So a little background on Laco. This German brand was founded back in 1925 and was one of the big five that were developing Flieger style pilot watches for the German Air Force. And during this period in the 1940s, when they were supplying watches, the watches were actually featuring in-house movements. The brand has switched ownership over the years, but with this, they now are really prioritizing what they do best and what was really their claim to fame, creating amazing looking Flieger watches. And throughout this video, I'm going to try to cover some details surrounding the world of Fliegers, but I do have a full in-depth video on this subject on my main channel that I can link to in the description. So now when looking at this Aachen, today I have the 42 millimeter option. But again, this also comes in 39 millimeters, and I'll have the full dimensions across the board of that watch on the website. The 42 millimeter case comes in a sandblasted finish, onion style crown that is very easy to engage and is very true to these original designs. The watch on the wrist is a bit on the larger end, but given the original function of these watches being on the wrists of pilots and navigators and having the need for great legibility and ease of just wanting to be able to see the time with just a glance, the 42 millimeter might make more sense for those that want to stay true to the original. However, those with smaller wrists, you might want to go for the 39 millimeter option instead, which will bring down that lug to lug quite well to 46 millimeters, assisting in a more compact wear. The strap is nice that comes with it, which really can't be said for the mass majority of watches in this price range, and is being produced in Germany like the watch itself. It comes in a traditional pilot style and is rigid to begin, but really breaks in wonderfully over time, featuring an ecru contrast stitch, a sign buckle, and a calfskin underlining that is very comfortable when strapped on. Casting over the dial is a flat sapphire crystal that will assist in the durability of the piece while offering a clean view of the dial within. Now, when looking at the dial on this Laco Aachen, we can now address the differences in this watch compared to the Type A style dial that we'll find on that of the Augsburg, which I've already reviewed and is essentially identical in the spec department, apart from the different dial layout that holds historical significance. So this dial is commonly referred to as a Type B style that became popular by navigators in World War II. Instead of the Type A with the hour numerals along the outside of the dial, here we have them at the center of the dial, with each 5-minute increment being displayed along the outside of the dial. So this display was favored as an easier way for navigators to quickly identify the time at the minute, given the precise nature of their work, as minutes obviously were a more important aspect of time to measure than hours. This dial style is a little bit more complex than, say, that Type A, but it does keep in mind the most important thing that is needed, which is phenomenal legibility. The watch maintains this pursuit with its beautiful use of contrasted elements. It has that matte black surface that comes so popular with these style of watches. Also features striking superluminova filled markers, the triangular mark at the 12 to help with orientation, and large leaf style hands containing superluminova to match, with the second hand also being lume tipped as well. In addition, the watch features the writing of the brand's logo at the 12 and the Made in Germany marking at the very bottom of the dial at the 6. But I think what this Type B does very well is continue that remarkable legibility that is needed from these pieces while just feeling balanced and not overcluttered. The superluminova on this piece is actually quite fantastic, making this watch just as legible in the light as it is in the dark, with all of those lumed elements shining well. Flipping the watch over, we have view of an exhibition caseback and the Miyota movement within the automatic 821A. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I think Laco has really positioned this watch, along with their Aachen, as being two of the best pilot Flieger style watches that you can find for the price under $500, especially from a brand with heritage in this space. How they're able to really get this price down, though, is making these watches available with Japanese movements within. So the Miyota 821A essentially is the elevated entry-level 8215, including a little bit of added decoration across the movement. The movement is no stunner in terms of the looks department, nor is it going to outperform the higher-end watches from Laco that contain their Swiss movements. That said, those do run north of $1,000, but these movements are just reliable. No-nonsense tickers that really are just easy to regulate, service, which for an affordable watch is really all that you can ask for. The movement operates at 3 Hz, 21,600 vibrations per hour. It features hand winding and surprisingly actually features hacking as well. These 821A movements typically don't actually feature this, but it seems like this is something Laco has been rolling out with all of their watches containing these movements. And then for accuracy out of the box, expect very similar specifications to that of entry-level Seikos, but Laco is regulating these watches, and I find a lot of these actually running quite impressively, around 10 seconds per day in accuracy, which for an entry-level movement is quite good. So now just to unpack here, final thoughts on this piece. I think a lot of it is the same as the Augsburg and what I said there. And when looking at the entire landscape of watchmaking, there's so much inspiration drawn from these original designs, these original Flieger pilot-style watches, but very few actually have true heritage, and Laco is one of them. And from that $1,000 price tier and under, I think they're probably the best option to go for, just because they do offer these Miyota versions as well, making these very accessible. And when you're comparing it to, say, another manufacturer that doesn't have this connection, they're not made in Germany, you're getting the great looks that have just become popular with these styles, I think there's a lot to like. And if it was up to me in terms of giving a recommendation to a relatively affordable, maybe the best entry-level Flieger style watch, this would be my choice if you're looking for that Type B dial variant. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon as well. But if you have any questions about this watch, I'll have a link in the description to, of course, learn more. You can purchase this watch, but in addition to that, you can also book a call with me if you have any specific questions, and I can help you with your purchase. So guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.